welcome to a homespun house. I'm Molly. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. So, as you can see, I'm so excited. For those of you who are new or watching, welcome. We had a shawl knit along in January, and I knit the largest of the whippoorwill size by Karina Spencer in like 2 weeks, I think, at the most. So I finished it. I'm wearing it, and it's out of Lene yarn, the Evil Ocean colorway, and then the coral color. I absolutely love it. It is so cozy. It is so soft. I posted a picture in the photo thread. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my teacup in a bit, but I posted a photo in the photo thread, and it wasn't blocked at the time. I just finished it, and I think I finished it seriously like 5 minutes before midnight. So I just finished in time. I was dead set on finishing it. It's very long, but it's perfect. It's the perfect size. It hangs, I would say this far past my hips. Let me show you. So here it is. You know, if I had blocking boards, I think I would even, I would block it even wider, because it actually, if you wanted to, you could block it out quite long. But it is quite long. It goes almost to my butt. So I don't know how large it looks in the camera, but it goes quite long, and it is very long to the edge. I love this. In the end, I think each row took 22 minutes or so. No, 22 minutes and 33 seconds. Actually, I have no idea, but they ended up taking from about 20 to 25 minutes. So, but it's finished. I finished on time. I'm super excited about that. So we may as well begin with telling who the winners of the shawl knit along were. We had 71 entries. 71 of you finished your shawls in time. That is so awesome. That is so amazing. For the first knit along that I've ever hosted, to have had 71 people finish the shawl is just amazing. A lot of people entered, and for those of you who didn't finish, obviously it's not a big deal. I'm so happy that you were involved, and that you wanted to be involved, and that you were excited about the knit along and about knitting a shawl. And I hope that you finish it. If where you are it's cold, that by the time you finish it, it's still cold and it can keep your shoulders nice and warm. The second after I finished this, I wore it the rest of the evening until I went to bed. I obviously didn't wear it to bed, but it sat by my bed. Yeah, it's so amazing. And you know, I was wearing this out in Berlin. On Sunday we went to the flea market, which was so wonderful because it's quite warm here. The snow has actually melted. And I was wearing this to the flea market, and I was just thinking, how amazing. I mean, nobody will ever have a shawl that looks like this. This is such a unique, the colors and everything that I chose. And it's something that I normally, like I've said before, I normally would never choose these colors. And I almost thought about not knitting it with the coral color because I thought the contrast was just way too drastic. But I'm very happy that I did, because in the end I'm very happy with the way that it looks. So I'm like taking forever to tell you guys who the winners are, and I'm sure that you're very excited to hear. So of 71 people who finished, the winners are, drumroll, Tanya Marie. So Tanya, you won the yarn. You get to decide between, so let's get my bag over here. This is a new bag that will be added to the shop. One of a kind. It will be the only one. So you get to choose between the Spin Monkey fiber. You get to choose between the Spin Monkey yarn, This is the sock yarn in the Violet Beauregard colorway, 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, 400 yards. Both of them, whichever one you choose, it comes with a little pretty stitch marker as well. Or you can choose the sport weight yarn in the Golden Child colorway. That's 100% superwash merino and 274 yards. So let's bring this a little bit closer so that you can see it along with the stitch marker, because why not? So there's the Golden Child, Tanya, and you get to decide either this one or Violet Beauregard. They're both very pretty. So just send me a PM on Ravelry with your address and which one you would like, and I will get it out to you very soon. So that's that. And the second winner, which is the winner of the fiber, and I haven't showed you guys at all what this fiber looked like, and I don't know why I hadn't done this before, but I can show you guys the fiber, the yarn that I spun from my exact fiber. So this is what it looks like. This is the yarn from the first time that I ever spun on my wheel. I used my Rolex, and I did pretty good. I got, I think, 323 yards of, it's kind of like a sport weight, almost a sock weight, to be honest, yarn. And so this is the color. It's purple, gray. There are some little flecks of plum in there. It's really, really soft. It is bamboo, silk, merino. It was really nice to spin with. I don't know if you guys have ever spun Rolex, but if you haven't, definitely give it a chance. They're a dream to spin with. They're very easy. It's a super lovely fiber prep. And I really enjoyed spinning from Rolex. I've only spun from them once, this one time. And Fawnette Fiber was so nice to give this away as a surprise. So, as a prize, not a surprise. And that one also comes with a really pretty stitch marker. Says made with love, which I think is fun, because when you knit something, then you have that made with love stitch marker on it, which makes it a little bit special. So the winner of those is Dodoggy, Dodogy, and that's Dorotea from Hungary. So she gets the Rolex. So Dorotea, can you please PM me with your address, and these Rolex will be off to you. So while we're talking about knit-alongs, I guess we can talk a little bit about the one that's going on right now. So right now we're knitting fingering weight. It goes on for a month and a half. It might be extended until March, the end of March, because while I said that you can knit anything you want basically in fingering weight, and if you could you please tag your projects with hashtag Homespun House KAL. Yeah, so while I said that you can knit anything you want in fingering weight, it obviously can't be something like very small. It has to be at least a pair of socks, a shawl, a sweater. I would really, really love to have people knitting sweaters, because it's going on for 2 months. So it's kind of like you have a bigger project with fingering weight. I mean, it would be amazing if you could knit a fingering weight sweater in a month, especially working, because as you all know, I've started my job this week, so I'm a couple of days in, and it's going really nice. Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it, and my colleagues are so amazing. I've gotten so lucky with the people that I work with. They're two girls. They're both my age. And they're very, very nice. I can definitely see that they will be friends who I will do stuff with outside of work, and we get along and we mix very well together, and we all really like each other. So it's working really, really nicely, and I'm enjoying it. Tomorrow I have to wake up at 5:30 to be at work, so that's going to be a little bit difficult, but But yeah, so we're doing the fingering weight knit along, and that's going really well. I can show you guys the prizes for the fingering weight KAL. So one of the winners will win whichever yarn Tanya does not choose. So you will find that out next week. And then the other winner is going to win some fiber from Decadently Divine Yarns. So this color is Autumn Blaze, and this is the bouncy sock base. It's 100 grams, so 400 yards of superwash merino wool. And I can see why it's called the bouncy base, because it's really bouncy and it's really springy and it feels really soft. The color is very pretty. I think this would be a very nice pair of textured socks. So textured socks, a shawl with a contrasting color. I think this would make a really nice whippoorwill with maybe like this. Even though the two don't come together, you get just one, but yeah, I think this would be really nice for a shawl. But whatever the winner decides. So those are the two prizes. You will get a... So I'm thinking if we have 75 people entering, finishing in the photo thread, if there are 75 people who finish their fingering weight knit along project, I will add a third prize to if we beat the other shawl knit along finish number of 71. So if we get to 75, I'll add a third prize, and then that will basically just be announced then in that episode with the winner. Yeah, so that's it for the knit alongs. You guys are doing amazing. There are already a lot of people involved. I think one person has already finished an object, which is super cool. I was asked the question of, what is the knitting scene like in Berlin or Germany? Are there a lot of local yarn stores, fiber festivals, and things like that? As far as the knitting and spinning scene goes in Germany, spinning and knitting are, sure, they're popular, but in comparison to America, it's not, there's no comparison. At least where I'm from in America, and I'm from the Midwest, and there are so many knitters in America and so many spinners, and I definitely know spinning is no way near as common in Berlin, at least, and even in Germany as in America. It's way harder to find fiber here. You can definitely find it, but not the fiber range, not in a local yarn store. Sure, you can, but like I said, it's not the range that you can get in America. I've only seen bats here in the local yarn stores. There's one that I found braid of fiber, but it's nothing amazing, I would say. Yeah. And the bats that I have found as well, while they're good quality, I feel like there's a lot better quality that you can get in America. And as far as yarn shops go, again, it's so much better in America. I feel like shopping for anything in America is so much more accessible. There's so much more of everything. And the German stores are definitely a lot smaller than the American knitting shops. I mean, sure, in America you get your small knitting shops, but in Germany, generally, they're not that big. And they have mostly German yarns. But then they also have like Regia and Schülle und Stahl, which is German, but you can get that in America all over. And then all of the Idee yarns, you cannot get those at all in America. Something else that's really cool is I worked in a yarn store for quite a while when I lived in America, and everyone at this time, this was in, I think, the early 2000s. I have no idea. Yeah, like maybe even 2000 to 2000, I don't know, 5. everyone was so obsessed with these Addi Turbo needles. And people still love Addi Turbos. And in Germany, because they are a German needle, they are very affordable. They're not cheap, but they're definitely affordable. I think they're less than half the price of what you get them in America. And they're maybe €7, I think, for a pair of needles. But I really like Addi Turbo needles, and I think it's super cool that I can get those here for a cheaper price. Other than that, I wouldn't say there's anything super special about yarn stores here in Germany as opposed to America. So you Americans are so lucky that you have yarn at your fingertips almost wherever you are. So I like to order from Etsy, but then I also like to support there's a local yarn store that I talk about often called Loops, and I go there once in a while. Sometimes they have amazing sales. Usually outside of the door they'll have 4 carts of yarn, anywhere between €2 to €4. Now let's get into what I am working on. I'm working on everything that you saw last week. I haven't finished anything, but because I finished my shawl, I got to add a square to my blanket. And you guys said that you do want a tutorial on how to make this blanket, and I wanted so bad to make a tutorial sometime this week. And I'm so sorry that I said that I would have it up before this podcast was up, but working every day, and it's just really kind of shocked me that I have no time, really, because my day is basically full from 6:30 in the morning until I get home from work. And then Elodie she's at home with me, obviously. And the nice thing is that Robert isn't gone very much in the evenings at all anymore. He was a professional handball player, and he's not doing that anymore because he wanted to make more time for us, which is really, really cool. And so then, of course, we spend time together and we're doing things, and it makes it really hard for filming an extra video, and even for knitting a bit. But knitting is something that I love, and I'm really, really trying to find some way, now that I'm working outside of the home, to fit it into my day. So I did indeed add this one square, and I 100% want to have this video out this week. And in the video of me showing you how I knit my squares, I'm going to show you how I knit and purl, because that is 100% my most requested thing. Everyone wants to know, well, a lot of you want to know how I'm making especially purling, because in one episode, I'll tell this story briefly for those of you who haven't heard, but I learned to purl from my grandma. I learned how I knit now from my grandma. Of course, like everything ties to her. And she purls amazingly. She was at a speech that Elizabeth Zimmerman gave at her knitting guild, and my grandma was sitting in the front row, and Elizabeth saw her purling, and in the middle of her speech she asked my grandma Sue, she said, "Hey, can I meet you out back? You need to show me how you purl." And my grandma said, "Yeah, of course," whatever. So then she met her after the thing and showed Elizabeth Zimmerman how to purl, which is so cool. But anyway, for those of you who have heard that, I'm sorry. For those of you who haven't, sorry, I didn't tell the whole story, but that's basically it. And so I purl super effortlessly, and I'm not even moving my hands a lot. So I would like to share that with you guys and show you guys how I do that, as well as knit, because I know a lot of you are interested, and I think that I can tie the two together pretty easily, and to make it all into one video, I think makes sense. So the next thing that I've been working on is my socks. And I have finished the leg. I made it. This is the longest sock leg I have ever made for myself. It's 62, so not even including the cuff, just from the end of the cuff down to the heel, I did 72 stitches. I always measure my leg and my foot and my cuff, so my entire sock, by counting the stitches. I never measure with a ruler or anything like that. So I've done the heel, and I've turned the heel, and I've finished my decreases, and now I am knitting the foot. I really love these. This is my Spin Monkey fiber. Tara is the same person who is giving the yarn away, and she has a coupon code. It's Homespun, HOMESPUN. You can just enter it as a coupon code in her Etsy shop, and you get 20% off. I know a lot of you, I hope a lot of you have been taking advantage of that, because the yarn is really very nice. The color saturation is so wonderful, and it's just really nice to knit with. Like I said in the last episode, once you wash it, and even now, like the more that I've been knitting it, and the warmth that it's been getting from my fingers, it's getting softer and softer. And I've never experienced that with a yarn before, that as I've been knitting with it and touching it, that it's softened up. So I'm very happy with these. I think they will look very nice with my outfits. Today I'm wearing my Grandma Sue socks, so this is them. And I love these. I wear these to work today, and I've been wearing them all day, but those are definitely one of my favorite pair of socks. And the reason why I call them my Grandma Sue socks is because she gave me that yarn, and she's knit quite a bit of socks with that same, not obviously this yarn, but that same brand and colorway. It's Schule und Stahl. The colorway I'm not sure of, sorry. But she's knit quite a bit of socks with that. So the next thing, which I haven't touched because I was so busy trying to finish my shawl. So this is my finished object. I mean, I got a lot done on this since the last episode. I did a lot of knitting. I mean, if you take into consideration that each row took 25 minutes. I knit from here all the way here. Let's turn this. So I knit from this all the way down to the bottom, which is a lot. And I enjoyed it though, like I said, and I'm so enjoying the end product of this. And I'm very happy because I have enough of this yarn. I could even make a medium whippoorwill, but I'm not sure if I will. I definitely want to make this pattern again in the large size. I would not like anything smaller, so I don't know why I just said I would make the medium whippoorwill. Yeah, and the lanai yarn is just amazing, like lotion, yarn infused with lotion. So yeah, I have enough of both colors to make a pair of socks. Even I could make a coral pair of socks and an Evolution colorway of socks. But we'll see what I use that for. I've never made a glitter pair of socks, and I don't think I've ever knit with glitter yarn in my life, but I very much so enjoyed knitting with glitter yarn. And oh my god, Lene came out with a new colorway. I think it's called Manic or something. It's quite new. I need this yarn. It is so amazing. It's kind of like neon. So if it's not called Manic, I'm sorry, but it's the new yarn with like neon specks. And then there's just a normal Manic that isn't speckled. That one's also super amazing too. Vanessa, the creator of Lene yarn, she's knitting the Follow Your Arrow, I think. It's Isolde Teague's shawl, like mystery shawl knit along, which everyone is doing, and I wish so bad to cast this on. Because so many people's, hey Pork Chop, she's knitting it as well, and hers kills me. Hers is so amazing. Hers is really beautiful. I think it's a pink and gray. She's the person behind, one of the people behind the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Stitch Along, and she's doing the Follow Your Arrow shawl knit along as well. And these shawls are just coming out so beautiful. But anyway, Vanessa is knitting her Follow Your Arrow out of this Manic colorway, and then I think she's using like a gray or something as the contrasting color, but it is really, really pretty. So this is my Grace cardigan by Jane Richmond. Like I said, I have knit nothing on this. This is exactly as it was, and this is what I'm going to be focusing on this week. This cardigan, because I would love to wear this. So this is just the back of the neck and then going down the side panels. So I just have a little bit done, but it's on fingering weight yarn and I love this colorway. This bag kind of ties in with some yarn that I've acquired. This is a yarn that I acquired not this week, but a couple of weeks ago. So Sherilyn, the one who gifted me the bag, also spun me this fiber. The name is California Gracefully. It is Polworth from Maud and Me, spun on her cherry something. It's a DK weight, 390 yards, and it's so pretty. It's green and evergreen and lime green and red and pink and strawberry pink, and I really love it. You know, it's so amazing, the amazing friends that I've met simply through podcasting. You just meet so many neat people, have so many neat conversations with them, and you guys are all knitters and creative people and crafty people, and it's so fun to have these bonds and these things that bring you together, and people who you would never have met or never have talked to in real life. And I'm so grateful for all of you for being interested in me and for wanting to get to know me and for having conversations amongst yourselves in the Ravelry group. It's so fun. It's so fun. So I want to say thank you so much for being involved and for being super neat people, because there's no way this could keep going if you guys weren't doing exactly what you're doing, and it's just awesome. So that's one yarn that I've acquired, and then the other two yarns are also from Decadently Divine fiber company. So the company is Decadently Divine, and it's an Etsy shop. So this one, oh my god, I squealed. I definitely squealed when I opened this box, because this surprised me. This is so beautiful. My husband's staring at me through the window. This yarn is so beautiful. This is 400 yards of superwash merino wool, also on the bouncy sock base. This is the colorway Twilight. Isn't it really pretty? I have no plans for what I'm going to do with these, but I definitely know that something is going to happen with these. And then the other one that she gifted to me is a Decadent sock base, and this one is also superwash merino wool, 490 yards. So that I think will be perfect for a shawl, and I think these two would look amazing together. But this one's for you guys. This one's a gift for your fingering weight knit along. So I'm very excited. I will definitely, this one I'm almost positive will be a shawl, because again, this is a really nice color with my red hair. So I love this, and I absolutely love this too. So I'm very, very excited about these. This one's just so neat. It's so neat how she dyed the yarn with the purple, and it's like bluish purple plum flecks. This is 100% something that I would buy. It just, I don't know, it's amazing. I'm very much into this speckled yarn. I absolutely love it. So a little bit about my teacup, I guess. There isn't a lot to say about it, but so these teacups were my great grandma Ruby's, and one thing. So I called my grandma after the podcast, a little while after the podcast aired, and she told me that those yellow socks were not knit by her mom. They were knit by her grandma. How cool is that? I think the socks are way cooler now. I mean, before I thought they were really cool, but the fact that they were knit by my grandma's grandma, that's my great grandma. Those are so old. I think that's so neat. But so anyway, these were 100% my grandma Ruby's. These were my grandma's mom's. This was her everyday teacup. She had a dinner set of these, so she had plates, she had saucers, she had dessert plates, and this was what she used every single day. So this wasn't like the very nice stuff that she would take out when she had company over. This was her everyday. My grandma would have breakfast with these, and she used these every day. And I think they're really nice. They hold a lot more coffee or tea in them than a normal fancier teacup, which I think is really nice. And my grandma gave these to me. She gave me a normal plate, a dessert plate, a saucer, and the teacup. So I just have one set, and she has the rest. I obviously couldn't take the whole set here with me to Germany, but I do have a whole set, which I'll show you next time. I won't show you the whole set. I'll just show you maybe the teacup and saucer of her wedding, a wedding gift set that she got when she married my grandpa. But these are fun for me to imagine because my grandma, I always think about this story when I drink from these, even though it really doesn't have anything to do with teacups. But and this is so crazy to me. So when my grandma and her brothers and sisters were little, or her brothers, she didn't have a sister, she had two brothers, or three brothers. When they were little, my great grandmother Ruby and her friends kind of all lived near each other, and every time when my grandma Ruby and her friends would put their children down for a nap, they would all meet at one person's house. So they maybe lived 5 minutes walking distance from each other. And even though they had babies, let's say there was a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old or 3-year-old sleeping in bed, they would leave and go and quilt or knit or hand quilt all together and drink coffee and have cake or cookies or tea together. So I kind of imagine maybe my grandma Ruby's friends coming over and them drinking from these teacups and leaving their babies in their houses alone. And my grandma, I remember her telling me this, and I was like, oh my God, Grandma, that's so crazy. All of them have these little babies that they're just leaving alone in their house. You know what I mean? It's like me going over to one of my friends' houses and leaving Elodie here alone. And my grandma said, oh no, it wasn't so strange then. People did this all the time and you weren't fearful of anything happening. And I don't know, I just think that's so funny. And it was a different time, and yeah, it's nice to have these images in my mind of my grandmother Ruby and her chatting with her friends over coffee and tea. But then I always think of these babies sleeping alone, and yeah. So this is fun to drink out of. I drink out of this one, I would say quite often. But I as well switch them around, and I drink out of new ones every day. So while we're on the topic of my grandma Ruby and my grandma Sue, my great grandmother Ruby was an amazing seamstress, and she sewed a lot of my grandmother's clothes. And So this is a newspaper or a magazine clipping that my grandma sent me. So this is what my grandma wrote on it. I showed Mother this dress when I was in high school. She made it out of a light cotton with little flowers on it. It was a favorite. So isn't that so cool? She sent me this picture of this woman in this dress. And this is my grandma's writing. I don't know. Her writing is just so my grandma, and it's so fun to read. But so this is a dress that she sent my grandma Ruby, that my grandma Ruby, I guess, sewed for her when my grandma was in high school. It's fun to imagine my grandma wearing that dress, and my grandma Ruby that she made it. I would love to know if my grandma still had this dress and what it looked like. And so I think that's neat. I love that my grandma keeps so many of these old newspaper clippings. And she also sent me just this. It's an old page of, and with a very old sweater. Let's see if there's a date on it. It's from 1923. How neat is that? So this must have been one that my grandma Ruby saved, because my grandma definitely wasn't alive in 1923. And she sent me this. It's a pattern for a knitted baby sweater. And then there are also just some really neat things. And there are some very, very funny articles in here. One that I don't know how interested you are. Maybe if you're interested in hearing some old articles from the 20s, tell me, and I will read it in the next episode if I get enough people saying that they want me to read about it. There's this super funny article about these prescription tablets that you can get to lose weight. It is so funny. Okay, so then this is the tin that holds my great-grandmother Ruby, her grandmother's garden quilt pieces. So I'll just take out a few and show them to you. So this is how they're inside of here. And they smell like vintage fabric. So everyone has the same center. So just the flowers are pieced together. They all need to be then pieced together with a trim. And I think my grandma said that my great-grandmother Ruby either did it with like a white, a cream, or maybe a mint green, I think is what she said, those three colors. So here's a blue one. And these are all hand sewn. So I will hand sew them as well. And these are all, a lot of these fabrics have stories. So I wonder right now as I'm looking at these, if one of these fabrics was the one that my grandmother made that, my great-grandmother made that dress with from the newspaper clipping that I just showed you, that my grandma asked her to make when she was in high school. Aren't these so pretty? My mom has a grandmother's garden quilt that I think my Aunt Ruby made. I think this was one of her favorite, or my grandma Ruby. I think this was one of her favorite patterns because I believe that my grandma also has at least two that my great-grandmother Ruby made. So I really love these. Some of the fabric is so neat. And there are a lot of new representations of a lot of these fabrics. And I would really like to get my hands on some. Even the new fabric I would be fine with. I really love the old sort of vintage patterns that they have. It's definitely one of my favorite styles of fabric. I like a lot more fine print. So there are way more, and there are so many prints that I could show you. But there really isn't time, and I don't know how interested you actually are in seeing all of these quilt pieces. But this is an old tin also. The quilt squares were actually in a much older tin, an amazingly beautiful tin, unlike any that I've ever seen before. And I don't know if it was my and I don't know if it was my grandmother Ruby's, the original tin, or if it was my grandma's, but my grandma wanted to keep it, so I'm imagining that it must have been pretty special to her. Now let's talk a little bit about my spinning. So I showed you guys before, I have a couple of things behind me. This drop spindle from Spin City UK. It's this Candy Sprinkle drop spindle. And then I showed you this fiber bat that I got. The lavender fiber bat. It's very, very unique. I would have never ever, Louise gifted it to me. She's the creator of Spin City UK. I would have never ever chosen this on my own. And so I'm very happy that she surprised me with a fiber, because while it is something that I probably will, I don't know, I cannot really say this because I haven't finished spinning it, but while it is something that I probably would not choose again, I'm very, very happy with it. As crazy as that sounds, if that even makes sense, I wouldn't choose it again, but I'm very happy with it. So I've spun a little bit of it, and it's coming out very neat. So this is the way that the fiber looks. I'm spinning it way thicker than normal. Usually I would spin a lace weight, or even smaller than a lace weight, finer than a lace weight. But I'm spinning it about, I would say I'm loosely applying it as a sport weight. Maybe a little bit thicker. Almost a worsted. And I think I'm not going to apply it at all. Miss Fancy Pants, or Oh Fancy Pants, Emily from What Just Watchin', she recently spun, knit, and finished a bulky pair of hand-spun mittens. I loved them. I really, really loved these mittens. I thought they were very nice looking, Emily. And I think I will use this unplied for a pair of mittens, because I think that this yarn with the flex in it, which is so cool. My husband really liked it. I wasn't sure at first how I felt about it, and then he said some things, why it looked so nice, and then I was like, yeah, you're totally right. It is very neat, and the more that I've been spinning it, the more that I think that as well. So I guess I can go a little bit more into maybe why I wouldn't purchase it again. And that is because while I really do like the flex, I am more of a person who uses quite often a fingering weight or sock weight yarn, as I've said before, because I really like knitting fine, kind of delicate looking things rather than big, bulky, and chunky things. Whereas I really like those sorts of things in specific things. I very much so like bulky cowls and headbands and things like this, but I don't use that yarn as much as other yarns. So I think that this will make a very nice pair of mittens, and it's unbelievably soft. It's extremely soft and it feels very nice. It's a little bit hard to spin, to be honest, and not because it's a bat, because I've almost all of my spinning has been with bats, so I know how to spin bats, I know how to prepare a bat, but I feel like the prep, it could have been maybe combed a bit more, or I'm unsure. Something about it is a little bit more difficult to spin, but it's not difficult. It's honestly not difficult. Maybe I've just been very spoiled with my Rolex, and I don't know. I would say this is maybe, but it's not difficult, so I hate that I'm saying it's difficult. It's very different, I guess we can say, compared to what I've normally spun. But I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying the yellow, the changing of the colors when it gets to yellow. I love when a fleck comes in there, because every time a fleck comes in, I think about how neat that's going to look in my mitten. So I'm not going to knit any neatly designed mitten with any texture or anything like that. I think the fleck is enough, and the fleck adds enough texture, and I think that this yarn is going to make beautiful mittens. So that is that. I got a new book in the mail. I've asked you guys before what kind of spinning book that you thought that I should get, and I thought that this one, someone recommended this. It is called Start Spinning by Maggie Casey, and it's an interweave book. I just got it in the mail today, so I haven't had a chance to look through it. The only look through that I've had of it was on Amazon. You know, you can look through a couple of pages, you can read the reviews, and the person who recommended it in the thread, there were tons of agrees. A lot of people agreed that it would be a good book to start with. So it's called Start Spinning, Everything You Need to Know to Make Great Yarn by Maggie Casey. And the illustrations inside of it look really nice. The illustrations inside of it look very nice, and I'm just excited. I'm excited to learn more about spinning, to learn more about different fibers, to feel like I really know what I'm talking about when I talk about spinning, because that's something that it's exciting to learn about your craft, and because with knitting and spinning, you're always learning new things, and I feel like I really know a lot about knitting. But spinning is just something totally different, totally foreign as far as the technological side of it, and I'm very excited to learn more about it. So I'm having fun spinning, and I'm looking forward to having a browse through this and to learning more about how to do different things, and this book just looks so neat. So I'm very excited to have a look through that. So whoever recommended and agreed, thank you so much. I will talk a little bit more about this book once I read through it and see how I like it. Something else that I've been working on is I put a hold to my Once Upon a Time Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery stitch along, because, and I know I wanted to finish January this week, but I didn't really get very much farther, so there's no point in showing it. I just finished the border. I didn't even knit in the Snow White, or cross stitch in the Snow White. So there's one woman who I teach knitting to, and she has a birthday coming up, and I thought that I've done this pattern many times. I think I gifted this to my mom, I gifted this to my grandma, I've made one for myself, and I wanted to make one for her birthday, because, you know, I'm kind of like her knitting teacher, and I thought that this would be a very lovely gift for her. So it just says wool, and it's a picture of a girl and her sheep. So I really like that pattern, and it's one that I will use and have used often for knitters or gifting for people, because who doesn't like that? It's really cute, right? So that's what I've been working on cross stitch wise, and I've really been enjoying it. So the final thing is my bag update. My shop, sorry, is completely empty. There's nothing inside of it at the moment because you guys are so freaking awesome that you have cleaned out my shop. I feel really bad because there are a couple of people who are waiting on their bags, and who have been waiting on their bags for a while, and I don't know what's going on with that, to be honest. I feel like Germany right now is having a bit of a hard time, and America maybe, with sending and receiving gifts, because over the Christmas holidays I think they must have had some issue with packages. There maybe was an overflow. I don't know. There were a couple of packages that took me almost 2 months to get here, so I don't know if they're slowly catching up and you will get your package, your bag soon, but all of the bags are on its way. So for any of you who are wondering where your bag is, it definitely has been sent out. Don't worry. I'm sorry that it's been taking a while, but I'm sure it will be finished by February, and bags will only take a week or 2 to get to you at the most. Yeah, I really apologize. There's nothing that I can do about it. So hopefully you get them soon, like I said. My new fabric that I thought would get here last week is taking a while, like your bags. I think I ordered it maybe 2 weeks ago and it still hasn't arrived. So hopefully it arrives this week and I can sew up some more bags, but these are the new bags that will be added to the shop. So here's one of them from the vintage sheets. There won't be a lot of bags for the shop update. There are 2 of each of these bags. So there are 2 of these large sized vintage floral bags. And then here's a small one. And this one has a linen bottom. The other one had the polka dots. I love these floral ones because I haven't had anything like it in the shop yet. These cute little cars. So there are 2 of these. Those ones are fun. And then just a plain one. I thought I would try. I'm going to be doing just some completely plain bags with just the pattern. So maybe some cars with just cars on it and other things. I already have pieces cut. They just have to be sewn. The Grandmother's Garden. This is 100% my most sold bag at the moment. I've sold a lot of those. And then these ones, the Tea Time. These are the only, I only have 2 left of the Tea Time. All of the other ones sold out. This is from new fabric that I've got. I purchased another meter of this fabric because the 5 that I made before sold out before I even listed them in the shop. So for those of you who looked for them on the shop, they never were listed on the shop because people purchased them before I could even do that. People PM'd me or messaged me on Ravel, on Etsy, and asked me if they could have them. So these ones I absolutely love. I love this fabric. I'm so impressed by this fabric. Like I said, I had to keep one for myself. So there's one with the plain linen, and then here's one with a blue linen. Isn't that beautiful? They are so nice. I just love them. Then there's this one with the gray gingham. So I'm trying to make all of these a little bit different. I didn't want to have it where it's just kind of how I've done some of the other ones. One bag that's all the same. And then the final one is the one that I've already shown you guys. Just this one, one of a kind. There's some yarn in here already. This one-of-a-kind bag. So yeah, I really like that one too. Obviously because I chose the fabric, so of course I really like it. So yeah, that's all. There will be about, I think, 16 to 20 bags total in the shop update. I hope that whatever bags you want, that you can get them, and hopefully they don't sell out before you get which bag you want. I unfortunately will not be able to do as many custom orders as I was doing before, because with my job and everything, I think it'll just be a little bit difficult. And same with updates. I will just be mainly posting them when I finish the bags and when I have time, because I don't have as much time now that I'm a woman working outside of the house. So I'm just having a lot of fun. I'm having fun working. I'm having fun spending more time with Robert. I'm having wonderful weekends now that Robert's home. Last weekend we went, like I already said, we went to the flea market on Sunday, which is something that we do all the time. When it's warm enough and there's no snow, we always go to the flea markets on Sunday, because that's when they are here in Berlin. And about 15 minutes from us, in the summer we usually take our bike, but when it's a little bit colder we'll take the tram. About 15 minutes from us there are 3 flea markets. So this past Sunday we hit up 2 flea markets and we had so much fun. I found some really nice just pieces. I love knickknacks, I love plates, I love tea sets, I love things like that. I love old things. So so we like going to flea markets, and Elodie had so much fun eating flea market food and looking at all the people and looking at little treasures and things like that. So I hope that we can do that again this weekend, and I just look forward to the weekend. The week has flown by. I can't believe it's already Thursday and there's just one more day left in the work week, and it's been really nice. I hope that you guys have also had such a nice week, and I hope that you also have a weekend full of relaxing and hopefully some fun plans to look forward to. Maybe flea marketing or whatever you like to do on your weekend. Knitting, spinning, spending time with your family, spending alone time, whatever you wish. I hope that you have time for that. So thank you very much. Thank you very, very much for spending time with me. I very much so appreciated it, and I look forward to speaking with and seeing you next Thursday. So have a wonderful week and weekend. Bye.